Hey, it's Anthony Meisner with Land Title. I wanted to bring you your first to know for January of 2023 for all of Boulder County. And as you can see, that big blue dot right there on the screen is where we're landing. So you don't have a line to look at, but it's a good sign. We're up a little bit, 1.6% from this time last year. So average sales prices are looking pretty phenomenal. The only big difference is with interest rates the way they have been, we're really starting to see this composition of sale change. So what I really mean by that is in Boulder County, a lot of times you'll see people, if they don't like the market or it isn't as favorable as they were hoping, they just decide not to sell, right? They have the ability to do that in many cases because of the concentration in wealth here. So it definitely is not the same picture as it was last year. I mean, just to put it all in consideration, interest rates were 3% in January. Now they're about 6%, right? So you have a huge swing in interest rates, which really changes the buying power of buyers out there in the marketplace. So let's take a look at the condo market. Condo market's experiencing a similar thing. We're right where we were last year, not really certain about what's happening or what's changing, but to be completely honest, things are looking really good. Things are looking up. It seems like we've gotten unstuck, right? We had a really big slowdown in November and December, and here we are kind of back off to, it looks like a good start to the year. And you can really see that through in a couple of other places too. Our average price per square foot in Boulder County is actually up 11.8%. That tells me that we're in a really healthy spot. It's pretty similar to where we were in December, but this just gives us a good indication of, what are we expecting going into the new year and just the health of that market. Even though that composition of sales may have changed quite a bit, we know that we're still in a really healthy real estate environment in Boulder County. The attached units, we just didn't really see many attached units sell, so that composition of sale there, it's just nowhere where it was before. I think this is probably an anomaly month. You definitely didn't see price per square foot go down by 5%. If anything, it's probably right in line with where it was last year. If we look at our active listings on the market, we're starting the year about where we ended. We're 13% below where we were a month ago. You actually had more buyers put homes under contract than sellers come to market last month. But the good news is we're starting in a more reasonable situation for active units. We have 482 units on the market, which is up 65% from a year ago when we were really scraping the bottom of that barrel. It's a much more healthy place to start. But the one thing we're really going to need to watch is how fast our listing is going to start stacking up this year with less buyers in the marketplace than we had a year ago. So expect not just a seasonal shift like we would see in any normal market, but also maybe something more like that 2019 line where we start to see stuff pile up a little bit. The only thing that we have historically to look at is in 2018 or in 2019 when things started to get a little bit tougher. People just stopped listing as many homes. Now they list more homes than buyers were buying, but they definitely slowed down in those total number of new listings coming to market. So don't expect us in those new listings to follow the same trends as we did a year ago. But as you can see, we might follow that 2019 line, that pre-pandemic, pre-COVID line, where we're getting back to a more normalized market. So you really want to start looking at some historical years to see what to expect going forward. I think it's a really good sign that we're down 15% in new listings. The last few months, we've been down about 30% in new listings. So this is a good sign that people are coming to market early. It seems like a couple weeks into January, things just kind of started to break loose. You really started to hear about some activity in the market. We started to feel more orders coming into Land Title, and 257 new listings is a substantial increase from the 137 we saw at the end of December. So all things are looking really positive going into the new year. Very rarely do I give buyers and sellers the same advice, but right now, you really want to tell your sellers to list early because you can really see it here that the number of under contracts are going to continue to rise. But before that inventory increases and they have more competition, the better off your sellers are going to be. We'll talk in the next slide about buyers, but buyers are actually in the same position, and this doesn't happen all that frequently. The big thing you're combating with your sellers is how do you get to market before the competition, but also, take advantage of a spring market with all that extra activity. So here we are with pending listings at 223. You can see we're still well above where we were in 2019, but substantially below the last 3 years, right? And that's to be expected. We're down 24%, 25%. Right in line with what I would expect. I think we're going to see our pending and under contract numbers be much closer to those 2019 numbers than our 2022 numbers, because over the last few months of the year, we really saw about a 30% reduction in under contracts. It's really expected that we would see something similar to that because the buyer activity in the beginning of 2023, as you remember, was just gangbusters. So we're really adjusting to those new normal levels, but that's going to create that rise in inventory. So that month supply of inventory is going to rise from here all the way through at least probably the summertime, probably all the way through the fall, but just depends on what rates do. If we get down into that 5% range or something where buyers are really feeling a little bit more confident, you may see more of a plateau at the end of the year than a drop off or a fallout like you saw a year ago. So the month supply of inventory is definitely something to keep your eyes on, but there's a lot of uncertainties in this market, especially going into recession, as they may say, right? So here's one thing that we do know. We know that this is why buyers really need to act sooner than later as well, is those average days in the MLS are starting to trend down. They always do. This is the highest you're going to see for the year. So 58 days on market would be basically January is always our top. And then we trend down all the way through May. It's really consistent. You see it every single year, right? We know history repeats itself because that's when buyers come to market. So the sooner your buyers can get out there and get to market, the less competition they're going to have all the way through May. That being said, this is also a really good time for you to go out and, let's just say, maybe not get a deal like you could have in, November or December, where we saw some of the lowest percentage listed sale price, we've seen in a long time, maybe 2012. But probably more in line with 2019, 2018 numbers. You can see that 97.5% in January is not really that uncommon. It does sound like a lot of those 2-1 buy downs are getting beat out now, so you're really kind of stuck with those interest rates and knowing that you can refinance as things come down. But that being said, those numbers didn't go into this percentage listed sale price, right? Percentage listed sale price is purely determined by the active price to the under contract price. And that doesn't include, price adjustments or anything like that we were seeing in the fall either. So we're in a more normalized market. We're feeling a more normalized market. Expect this to feel a lot more like 2019, where, we might peak somewhere around 100% and we fall off back to those 97, 98 numbers towards the fall again. So the sooner you act as a buyer, the better off you're going to be this year. As a seller, same thing's going to go for you as well until that inventory starts stacking up. So if you have any other questions, I'm Anthony at Land Title. I also have a ton of subsidiary data to kind of go with this, all the local markets. If you need those, reach out to me. I'm always here as a resource for you. If nothing else, catch you on the next video. Talk to you soon.